Howdy everyone, it's Sam. Welcome back to the Wobble Enjoy Sports channel. If you're new around here, I hope I can get you to consider liking the content and subscribing to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continuous support. The BMD Premiership finals are here this weekend on the Sunday, and we've got two games happening at the one location, Davies Park in Brisbane. We've got first versus fourth in the South Logan Magpies versus the Wynnum Manly Seagulls. And then the big one, or for me anyway, the main reason why I'm talking about it right now is that the Mackay Cutters, unfortunately, they lost last weekend, and now they've got to travel down to Brisbane, and they'll be taking on the Burleigh Bears for the third year in a row in finals football. I imagine that even if the Mackay Cutters did win last weekend to get themselves a home semi-final, preliminary final, as you will, as it were, I still reckon they would have had to have made this trip down to Davies Park on the Sunday afternoon. But we're here, we're square, and I'm here to preview the matchup between the Bears and the Cutters. It's hard to call this a rivalry geographically, but historically, the Bears and the Cutters, who used to be known as the Gold Stars, they've played some absolute doozies over the years since the 2021 season. The finals ledger between the two stands at 1-1, and this is going to be the tiebreaker. The winner goes to the grand final to probably take on the South Logan Magpies next Saturday or Sunday afternoon. At what location? I'm not too sure just yet. So let's go into the home side first. Technically, they are the Burleigh Bears. For the Bears, at fullback, Terry-Ann Egan. The wingers, Ayla Ovari and Sienna Lang. The centres, Tyler Birch and Cheyenne McGlone. The halves pairing, Zahara Tamara and Ash Quinlan. That is a dangerous halves pairing. The forward pack, Sophie Hollyman, Danny Perez and Shante Tamara, who's having a terrific season herself. The back row, Tasman Gray, Riley Jorgensen and Sophie Buller. The interchange reads Matakino Kahukoti Gray, Lily Rose Colch, Azariah Wallace, and Brianna Shillingsworth. And the big news for the Burleigh Bears, unfortunately, is that Chelsea Lenarduzzi, who got knocked out a week or so ago now. It was an awful concussion, HIA, that she suffered. She rattled up a couple of teeth as well, and she unfortunately will not be playing in this game. It looks like a BMD Premiership season-ending concussion. Well, hopefully anyway, if the Cutters can win, but that's a huge loss for the Burleigh Bears. And also, if me research is correct, halfback Ash Quinlan is playing in the City Country game tonight, Thursday afternoon at time of recording. And then she's got to catch a plane up to Brisbane, but there is a possibility that if something goes awry tonight in the City Country game, she will not play this Sunday afternoon. Let's go into the Mackay Cutters team list news now. And in at fullback is Jasmine Peters. The wingers are Katie Green and Alicia Martin. Libby Surha and China Palata are the centres. Alicia Ford and Tallulah Tillett are the halves pairing. Lyrek Mara, Mackenzie Wheel are the starting front rowers, with Emma Mantleman, the captain and hooker. The back row features Romy Teitzel, Sarika Muka, Shannon Marto, and the interchange reads Lily Pocock, Zoe Cook, Elle Stitt, and Vanique Laeta. And the reserves for the Cutters, we see Clark and Lauren Moss sitting on the reserves as well. There is one change to the Cutters, and that is Casey Mantleman. I believe it's a sternum injury, if not a HIA. So she would be usually the 14 coming off the bench, but it looks like Peacock is going to be coming off of the bench instead in favour for Casey Mantleman. These two sides obviously did meet once earlier this season up at QCB Stadium, and unfortunately the Burleigh Bears got the better of us that day, winning by at least 30 points in the end, which is highly unusual because these games between the Bears and the Cutters / Gold Stars have been unbelievable. And it was last year that the Cutters or Gold Stars broke through to beat them in the preliminary final. And now we're here again. And I'm so excited for this game. We've got Emma Manzelman, we've got Jasmine Peters as well. On the same day, Shania Power is going to be playing for the Winner Manly Seagulls, and she's just about the best player in the BMD Premiership this season alone. And April Natapuna, while she's not probably potentially going to sign with the North Queensland Cowboys NRLW side, she is playing for the South Logan Magpies as well. So watch this space. So plenty of North Queensland flavour in the BMD Premiership Final Series starting this Sunday afternoon. I think the girls can do it. I'm pretty confident in it because last weekend, the top of the table clash, the Magpies versus the Cutters. It was the Cutters that hit out to an early double-digit lead. The Magpies fought back. The Cutters and the Magpies then went to and fro. And unfortunately, the Cutters, they were not patient enough with the footy. They were in their own end, not in their own end, they were in Magpies' end with about 5 minutes remaining. They were up by about 4 or so points, and they were still throwing cutout passes. There was still a lot of offloads and a lot of play as if to indicate that they were down. So they just needed to play a lot more patient in this contest, and they would have walked away with the W. But boy, howdy, we learned a hell of a lot more about the Cutters and the Magpies because the Magpies, they scored a try pretty much right on the siren inside the final 60 seconds of play, unfortunately, and they walked away with the dub up at Jack Mansky Oval last weekend. I really hope the Cutters and the Magpies do battle in the grand final next weekend because the Cutters, I reckon they'd be pretty confident in getting the job done, and vice versa, conversely, obviously. But yeah, I take a lot of confidence, and I think the girls have as well, taken a lot of confidence out of that loss to the South Logan Magpies. And I genuinely believe, taking off my bias glasses, I do think that they can travel down to Brisbane this weekend and defeat the Burleigh Bears out there at Davies Park. Come on, you Cutters, make the grand final. Play the Magpies, take home the premiership, back-to-back premiers up in North Queensland, and then that leads ever so beautifully to the debut of the NRLW Cowboys that kicks off on Saturday, the 22nd of July. I spoke to the NRLW Cowboys inaugural head coach Ben Jeffries last night, along with my mate Cowboy Kate. I'll put a link in the description below as well. Thank you, everybody, so much for the continuous support recently, and look forward to the footy this weekend. It's Magic Round. It's an absolute fiesta of footy, and I'm going to be there at Davies Park on Sunday just before the Cowboys and Roosters kick off at Magic Round inside Suncorp Stadium. It's only a half-hour walk, man. All I'm going to be missing is a bottom-of-the-table clash between the West Tigers and the Dragons. So that's how my Magic Round's going. I'm going Davies Park on Sunday morning, checking out both of those finals, and then zooming me way up to Suncorp to see the Cowboys beat the Roosters this weekend as a part of Magic Round. Have a very enjoyable weekend, guys. Hope your team wins, except for the Burleigh Bears and the Sydney Roosters, and I'll talk to you guys later. Adios.